Hello ladies and gentlemen, Yessik Ziiq here again today to bring you, well, an episode of basically a showcase. This isn't really a Let's Look At or an Indie Crunch because it's not really indie. This is Cloudberry Kingdom, the endless platformer. And right now I'm participating in a YouTubers only tournament of this game. I've gotten access to it a few days early. If I am correct, it comes out on the 29th on Xbox, PS3, and PC. And will be selling for about 15 bucks. Now, I've been playing this game quite a bit since I got it, and have kind of been obsessively going for leaderboard scores. I have to explain everything beforehand because once the game starts, I'm not going to have much time for actually talking. So you basically use your random characters. You can design them or you can just put whatever you want on them. I kind of like this costume right here, so I'm just going to go with it. And there are several different types of game modes. There's Hero Rush, Hybrid Rush, which requires getting to level 500, and I'm not even sure how you would do that at this point. Time Crisis, which I don't even know what it does, and Escalation, which is the classic mode. As well as that, you can get several different types of characters, but I'm just going to play with the classic. They all have different things. This guy has like a jetpack of sorts. This guy's big, which has no advantage. A double jump character. Anyways, a lot of fun things to explore and do, and you keep unlocking classes as you go. I just have no idea how to get it. Right now, the high score for the YouTuber tournament is 1.4 million. I'm in 7th place. So let's actually just show you the game. There are also power-ups in this game, but the power-ups are only really useful in later levels, because in the first few levels, there's no point in having them at all, really. There we go. So as you can see, level 1, fairly easy. And actually, until about level 20 or 30, all the levels are pretty easy. But like you might notice, this is a score attacking game. So right now my score is 9,000, and I have a multiplier that I get every time I have a perfect score in the game. So, oh, damn. So to get a perfect score, I have to get every single gem, and if I don't get a perfect score, or if I die, my multiplier resets. Right now it maxes out at 8, but later on, the multiplier maxes out at 12, 13, 14, and it goes up by 1 every level. So kind of cool concept, and incredibly addictive, like more than you might even think. Even though you might be looking at this thinking it looks kind of cartoonish and childish, and that was my first impression too. I was like, the graphic style is just awful, I don't like it at all. But it belies some ridiculously deep gameplay, or some ridiculously fun gameplay anyways, not really deep so much. Another thing that you should know about this game, probably before you play it, is that there is a pattern for every level, where if you start moving right away, and never stop moving, you can complete it without getting hurt. So this becomes pretty damn important later on, and you will see exactly why. The game gets a bit intense, and there are levels that I've seen that I would have thought were entirely impossible, and that's when using the power-ups comes into effect. So there's 3 types of power-ups. There's one that will reset your multiplier and just allows you to watch the computer play the level for you. There is one that shows you a safe path through the obstacles just in a line, and if you follow the bouncing ball that follows the path, you will make it, and you will make it well. The other is slow-mo, which is my favorite power-up, and that will just slow everything down. So these power-ups, they actually get not exponentially more expensive, but they get expensive pretty quick. Like, your first slow-mo power-up costs 20 coins, then 40, then 80, and then spikes. And while I'm describing these power-ups, I'm having a very hard time with this slightly harder level, which I shouldn't be, because it's actually a fairly easy level. Oh. Just managed to not take damage on that spike, and did get my multiplier back up to 2. Let's get all these crystals. Some of the levels, sometimes you're lucky and you come across like a ludicrously easy level, and that's what I thought this one was for a while, but it's actually not that easy. There we go. Just gotta get over to here, and make it to the end. So, stopping your momentum, basically what I was trying to say, is a good way of dying in this game. Because if you don't stop your momentum, you will have a perfect run, and everything will just be lined up for you. The spikes will be out of your way, everything will just work out. I'm having a surprisingly hard time with this level. I'm only at 100,000 points, so this is kind of embarrassing for me. There we go, managed to do it that time. Sometimes, though, the movement that you make at first is not exactly what you'd think is the logical movement, so you end up on levels like that, where you fail over and over again just because immediately going forward and jumping isn't what you're supposed to do. Instead, you're supposed to have like a mini bounce, like you're supposed to start the level like this. And that can be a bit confusing, but usually you can find the pattern or just sort of weed it out. So, gotta get... Come on. Okay, let's try it this way. Perfect. Almost didn't make that one, but like I said, if you just hold forward the entire time, usually you will make it and get all the crystals. You just have to time your jump, so it's almost more of a rhythm game than anything else. And they see there I missed a coin, as they're called, and now because of that I will lose my multiplier, which really sucks because I'm getting kind of into the later levels, and soon the multiplier goes up, and this is where the real score attacking starts. Although, if you can keep your multiplier up to like +8, +10 for the first 20 levels, you can get a fair amount of points just right away, like 100 or 300,000. Let's say 300,000 since I'm only at 160,000. 300,000 is what I probably should be at right now if I'm going to be competing in this tournament at all. There we go. So by the way, I will post the scoreboards for the tournament, which is all YouTubers and a lot of fun, down in the description below, so if you guys want you can go check it out and head to their website. Enjoy yourselves. This is actually a tiny bit sketchy. There we go. I lost the timing a bit there, so I thought I was gonna die. This whole timing thing though, it is more important in some levels than others. Except if you just take your time, you can actually work out the strategy exactly how it works. Like this one, for instance, it's just a bunch of these flaming spiral Mario arms, so easy enough. As you can tell, the level progression isn't exactly, like, it doesn't always get harder. Sometimes it gets much easier for a while, but pretty soon, starting at level 50 actually, it gets really damn difficult really fast. And that's where I will start actually using these power-ups that I keep speaking of. These are some of the levels that I was talking about that if you just kind of take your time and relax, you can winkle out the pattern and it doesn't really matter. Because those things don't swing way too much, and they are mostly just hanging above your head. And here we see one of the, I would call it a later game mechanic, but it can appear in very early levels too, like as early as level 1. But those clouds kind of piss me off. You don't so much, you kind of like float through them in a way that I don't like much. Oh god, okay. Can I climb this? I think I'm slowly making upwards progress. My bad, guys. Don't want to die here and lose my multiplier, or else I would restart this. There we go. Sometimes in those situations with the platforms, if you don't watch out, you can end up just on a forever downward spiral. And there we have it again. What I mean about that was what I meant about like the rhythm of this game. As long as you follow the rhythm, you should be able to get through all the areas perfectly fine. It's up to a 9 times multiplier. Like I said, every 10 levels the multiplier goes up by 1. So now it just starts at +2, whereas before it was... okay. This one is a bit of a pain in the ass, and I will actually use this opportunity to show you the path power-up. So I find this power-up the hardest to use just because it is so ridiculously, like you have to follow the path of the, not only the path of the ball, but the speed of the ball, so it requires a lot more focus than the slow motion. Slow motion, you can just kind of work out the path on your own. Oh, okay. Let's try this again. Again, these lasers from the sky are some of the easier to dodge obstacles because they are very predictable. Again, I say that and then I immediately die, and here is one of those examples where the game wants you to take a bounce before you start, and I was probably supposed to just head forward there instead of what I did. And I managed to get to the end of the level with perfect. Like I said, very predictable, and you can run through them when they are thin, like you can see right now. When they're thick, though, they are instant death, like everything else in this game. Back up to ×5. I doubt I will be beating my high score, but hey, I was talking the whole time. You can't blame me. Well, you could blame me if you wanted to. Okay. Excellent. It's when all the obstacles combine that things actually start becoming a bit difficult. These bugs are another weird thing. You'd think you would bounce off of them, but you get more pushed off of them than bounced off of them. So a bit awkward there. Although you do get used to them after a while, and after you get used to them, they are, well, for me, they are the most easy to use obstacle in the game. Like, easier than the bounce pads. So I'm back up to my 11 times multiplier here. Oh, Jesus. I wasn't expecting to be able to live there. And now I have lost the pattern, so I'm just trying to survive. Fortunately, I've gotten to an area with not too many obstacles and a lot of bricks that are trying to save my life, so that wasn't the worst time to lose my rhythm. So these are bounce pads. I have to wait for it to be coming around. I really didn't want to lose my multiplier there, which is why I tried that instead of just going for the win, which I could have gotten pretty much immediately. Huh. So another tough one here. I have the feeling I'm either going slightly too slow or slightly too fast, and the answer was slightly too slow. It actually wanted me to hold forward and be slightly more aggressive so I could pass under that saw. Yeah. So really ridiculously addictive to play, but I'm not sure how addictive it will be once the scoreboards are small again, because right now the scoreboards are really tiny, so it's kind of like a fun tournament between just a few people. I'd imagine it would still be just as fun to play, not to mention there seems to be a 4-player mode, which I haven't even touched yet. Likely local co-op instead of online. But sounds like something that I would have a lot of fun playing with my friends. So unfortunately I missed that crystal there, so I will lose my 12 times multiplier, and I will lose a life. Another mechanic that I forgot to mention is that every 25 coins I get a 1-up in this mode. So you start out with not enough lives to sustain you, and then you get enough lives to sustain you. There we go. Multiplier is going back up. So here's where things become a wee bit difficult. And I'm going to stay silent. I think I'm supposed to jump when I'm... So let's do 1, 2, 3. And I was supposed to fall over there instead. You know, I'm going to actually invest in this slow time bonus. Now seems like a good place to. Remember to actually use your bonuses. I know that sounds like it's a no-brainer, but sometimes you're just too proud to actually spend your coins, and they accumulate over time. And it's better than dying. Not to mention, it is a part of the game, so you're kind of supposed to accumulate score through the bonuses and the power-ups, I should call them. Like I said, if you just keep holding forward, usually you'll make it, but sometimes you have to pause for like 1 second. And that was one of those times. Just let me have my last coin. Okay, that was actually a bit of a hard run. And these levels are kind of piss-offs because you know you're supposed to move right away. Well, it's also true in this level here, where you have these disappearing, reappearing platforms. And I lose my multiplier once more, which is kind of a piss-off, but alright, I guess. Again, the coins draw loops as to where you're supposed to go, so if you're ever having trouble, and there are lots of coins, just follow the coins, and they will lead you to exactly where you want to be. I'm glad that, that I managed to actually demonstrate that while talking about it. So again, not going to get a multiplier, but if I can just beat this level, it'd be worth it for me. This one looks like a bit of a pain in the ass. These guys are going to start disappearing real soon, but I made it to the end anyways. Again, momentum and rhythm in this are very important. And that's like that in a lot of platformers, actually. Mario, you can also beat most levels without moving. I kind of want to get that, and since this is a very predictable level with minimal levels of danger, I think I can. Yes, indeed I can. So up to 56,000 points. My first score was actually only 300,000, so this is quite good. Rather good, you might say. I unfortunately cannot get that last coin. It's completely impossible, so I'm going to lose my multiplier again. And as you can see, here is where rhythm becomes even more important than it was before, and I'm doing it wrong. Fortunately, sometimes wrong works too. Later on, it's not so much. If you even screw up once in terms of the pattern you're supposed to be taking, you end up dead. Like there, I was supposed to jump slightly higher so I could get in between there. So I have 22 lives. If I lose another life on this, I will spend coins on a power-up. But I actually made it through. Lovely. And got a perfect. So multiplier increased again. As you can see, like I said, every 10 levels that happens. Again, this is a fairly easy, predictable level. Or I shouldn't call it easy, but predictable. Yeah, there we go. Immediately as I say I shouldn't call it easy, I die. So I don't exactly... I see. Supposed to jump through the gap there, and I can get the last coin for a perfect. Excellent. As you can see, the spinning fires are actually becoming considerably longer, and I may have lost this just because I didn't move forward the second the level started. So I'm supposed to be moving slightly faster here, although I'm not exactly sure how. Maybe I'm just supposed to avoid that middle one entirely and move on to the next. No, okay. So here's a good opportunity to use this. I'm falling a bit behind, but that's alright since I thought I had beaten it. So like I said, sometimes it just wants you to like jump at the beginning, and I don't understand that, and I don't know how I'm supposed to see it coming. Let's see if I can grab this. Nope, can't. Well, now I know how to beat it, so just need to take a bit more time instead of a bit less. And I got back up to the top. That's another one that actually wanted me to delay at the beginning, and it didn't run quite far enough forward on that derpy brick, as I sometimes like to call it. And I hit the microphone. Getting a bit too intense here. Another thing that this game does is make me sweat balls, and no matter what controller I'm using, it makes me jam on the keys because it's so tense. So just made it through that in time. Like I said, as you get further in the game, the rhythm becomes more and more important to the point where it's almost impossible to win if you lose the rhythm. Sometimes these bricks that have things attached to them are worth destroying just so that you can have the obstacle out of the way. Ah, missed the jump. Another thing that I think could use improvement in this game is sometimes because I have to start the level so fast, I actually don't know how many lives I have or what my multiplier is or the level number. Unfortunately, I left that one gem behind, but I am just super psyched that I actually managed to get through that. So I'm down to 14 lives now. So again, one of these situations where I'm just supposed to run right through, it times the spikes for you if you do that. Like I said, you can always tell the loop of the arc that it wants you to take by watching these crystals. They call them coins, I call them crystals. You say tomato, I say tomato, except I don't say tomato because that'd be a stupid thing to say. Okay. So I'm in another one of these levels where timing is key. and I don't know exactly what timing they want me to take. Only that I missed a crystal already, and I'm kind of upset about it. That time I did not even make the very first jump, which happens to me often. So this one I need to move a wee bit faster, but I need to move fairly slowly to get that, which is weird. Huh. So now is a good time to actually invest in this. It's starting to get rather expensive, but I don't know what else to do. I'm also going to go slow motion, which makes it easier to follow. But at this point, I'm pretty much running out of money. I only have 2 or 3 options left. Okay, and I should be able to make it this time. Indeed I do. I was slightly ahead of the ball, which isn't ideal, but I managed to make it anyways. So absolutely did not make the jump that time. So this is one of the levels that actually pisses me off the most, because I hate having to time my way through these spikes, because I'm not sure how slow or how fast I'm supposed to be, and the spikes are kind of bullshit obstacles. So let's try this again. I can't really afford to do this, but I'm going to, I guess. Keep missing. And I made it to the very end. That was actually really intense. See, I need the speed there, or else that beam from heaven will get me. Ghost. Yeah. One thing that kind of pisses me off is, as far as I can tell, in the course of a level, a lot of these things will only line up for you once. So I need to do my little jump beforehand here in order to get some extra time. So if you miss them, there's no recovering. Now there I was supposed to walk forward instead of jump. I do understand that. And then this, and to the end. Only have 3 lives left, so pretty soon this show is going to come to an end. Anyways, I do appreciate their marketing campaign and making this fun little event for us YouTubers, so go check them out. I will leave a link to the scoreboard and to their main website in the description below. Unfortunately, I have screwed that up pretty horribly. So that ends the formal segment of this, I guess. So I have 1 more life left. Oh, what? Come on. I thought I only had 1 more life left, but apparently not. So anyways, again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Probably expect 1 more of these today of me just playing through, maybe talking to you guys, being mostly silent. Bye.